News 46 is brought to you in part by
Trouble never sleeps, but sometimes all state agents have to. They're only human. But don't worry. The good hands are always available, day and night, by phone and online. Good night.
Take care.
You should never feel alone. That's all state stand. Are you in good hands?
Protect your future and the ones you love. Roy Mankins Insurance, 727-5222, 1271 South Highway 160.
I know that we had the incorporation feasibility study. That's what you're speaking about. And the end result of that study, tell me about that.
Well, the end result of the study, you had some huge people that were on the board. I mean, you had one of them was Bill Verbeck. He's now the dean of the college down here. I mean, you had some high-profile people that were involved in the first study. So it wasn't like we were just, citizens trying to think we were doing something. We were actually, they were pretty knowledgeable people there, and we did a lot of work on it in getting the information that was accurate at that time. Now, since that report was done, there was another report that, that the budget numbers were different, but overall, there's an NRS statute that says the funds that are being allocated to the town currently would be allocated to the city if it was to convert into a city. So the funds, there's a discrepancy between whether it's 17 million to 25 million would be the budget or whatever. Those things have to be worked out. Those things have to go to the next step. The only way to get to the next step is to have a vote of the people and say yes or no. And, so
that was wiped out on this last county commissioner meeting.
Okay, we'll go to item 32A. Action, discussion, deliberation, possible decision on placing an advisory question on the November 2012 general election, asking for the voters of the town of Pahrump whether they wish the town of Pahrump to incorporate.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I have a question for Mr. Kunze on this item.
Yes.
Mr. Kunze?
Yes.
Does this board have the statutory authority to authorize the clerk to place an item on the ballot for the town of Pahrump relative to this issue?
We examined this, and my feeling is that the commissioners can put something on an advisory question if it's something that falls within their consideration. This board has no authority in which to deal with the incorporation issue, so therefore there really isn't any statutory authority for you to put this on as an advisory question, from this board. Secondly, that I wanted to point out was when you look at the advisory question, there's a lot of materials that have to go into an advisory question. Part of it is, as an example, is preparing the statements that go with the question, including fiscal impact. And my question to the board would be, if you're going to be sponsoring this advisory question, who is going to be doing the studies and preparing questions and issues with regards to the financial impact of an incorporation. So I think there's a lot of practical issues that really makes this an issue that really isn't appropriate for action by this board.
So what's the action? Or no action?
No action.
That's your decision.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to go against my attorney. That's kind of...
Mr. Dolan wants to speak in.
Turn your mic on. Okay. Anybody wish to make a motion?
Should we just make a motion to say no, we can't do it?
If you don't
On
make a
advice of
motion-
the attorney,
if you
we're
don't
just going to
make-
let it die.
If you don't make a motion, it dies.
All right. On advice of the, all right.
Well, if I don't hear a motion, it dies without a motion.
So does this take the idea of incorporation off the table then completely, that you guys have resigned, or where do you see it going from here?
No, I mean, in my opinion, it's not a gone issue by any means. It's ran into a position where it can't go any farther based on the current circumstances that are in front of it. Okay. I think, taking a step back and restructuring or reorganizing, looking at it, and really, one of the key things is getting to the elected people, and maybe trying to have some independent committee or something like that could go and actually get a petition or something of that started that would get the signatures needed.